Is the locket ring like the little booger sugar ring?
No.
Is that like the little?
No, it's supposed to be the poison ring.
Oh.
Well, how did you know that?
You're like, how did you know
It's a
that?
little thing, and it's got a hinge and
Yeah.
it's a poison ring. It's from like medieval times.
So
and
if you get caught,
Yeah, so
they
like
put,
you
like,
put it over
poison
somebody's
in there, and
glass.
then you do this on somebody's glass, and you
was
close it.
cyanide or whatever?
Yeah,
That's pretty
you
cool.
Just close it up and you walk away, and I don't know why I like them. This
You
is
don't
the
put
second
anything
one I
in
have.
there?
Walking Blind is hosted by overly emotional dudes who overthink and overanalyze everything. Nothing the hosts say should be taken as medical advice or opinion. They're not professionals, and they're about to make that very clear. So just kick back and hang with them, because you've earned it.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Walking Blind podcast. This is episode 35, kind of a big deal, and we're also kind of late this week. We were originally going to go Monday, and then you were going to come Monday, and then we switched it because we did some things that we'll talk about a little bit later, and then we're going to go Thursday, and then I forgot I had something Thursday. So now it's Friday, and you're here.
I'm here.
And it's official. So this, ladies and gentlemen, that's Mike. I'm Mike, you know, the whole deal. So we talk a lot. We talk a lot on this episode. We have a lot of questions. And for you guys that do listen regularly, there are, listener questions that we read off, and there's messages that we get. And sometimes we have these really, really, really long, really, really long novels that we have to sort through from, our friend Renee. And ladies and gentlemen, Renee.
Hi.
So we are here, episode 35. This is going to be kind of a fun one. It should be pretty interesting. We want to know how Mike is as a coworker. And you can be honest. You can do like the completely honest truth.
Yeah.
here.
So anyone who doesn't know, Renee and I worked. We won't say the place that we worked,
No.
but we
Nope.
did work together in a very high stress environment.
It was a hostile. It was a hostile environment.
Hostile
Environment.
environment, which I kind of have mentioned or alluded to this on previous episodes, but your introduction to being there was way more intense than mine.
3 weeks I was there.
Jeez.
Yep. That was a day.
Yeah.
That
It was a day.
yeah. We won't get into that, but I remember him starting and then telling me what was happening, which is a little, kind of out of the scope of things we can talk about. Mm-hmm. But I was like, holy shit. Like, are you serious? And he's like, yeah, dude. And I was like,
Yeah, you were supposed to be at the house that day, weren't
Yeah,
you?
yeah,
Yeah.
That was my first day. My
Yeah.
first day was that day, and
Okay.
and I was on my way, and I was all excited, and then I
It's
get the
actually
phone
coming
call.
up. It's August 5th.
Whoa!
sheesh. Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah,
Damn. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I was on my way. I was all excited, and then I get a phone call, and they said, "Hey, we're really sorry, Mr. Perez, but we can't have you come in today. We actually have an emergency crisis situation. We'll let you, or like you. So yeah. So they said like we have a situation, and so we can't have you come in today." And so, of course, my dumb ass is like, oh, okay, what about tomorrow? Am I good for tomorrow? And she's like, you know what? We're going to have to let you know.
Yeah, we'll
let
call you.
We'll have to let you know. And so in my mind, I'm like, fuck, did I get fired already? Like, am I going to like,
I haven't even
you-
started
like,
yet.
don't call us, we'll call you.
Yeah.
You didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
That was the worst place.
Yeah. And so that actually set me back from working there, like another, like almost like week and a half, 2 weeks, I remember.
Yeah.
And I'd already put in my last day.
Yeah.
I already reached I already was off from Daily Brew, so I wasn't working, and then I had like this 2 weeks of just like
Hanging out.
Yeah, hanging out, and I was getting all mad, and I was like, I remember a part of me was like, it had to have been something pretty gnarly, if
Yeah.
Something major had to have happened.
Yeah.
and something major did. So
Yeah, it did.
That should have been a sign from the very beginning.
It should have been.
Things are not going to work out well here.
Yeah.
You know?
Actually, he was supposed to come that The 5th was supposed to be his first day too. RP.
Really?
That was supposed to be his first day too.
Whoa.
And they were on the phone trying to get him not to, one more day, just one more day. I had no place to put the poor child.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was supposed. He got there August 6th.
Wow.
So.
But my very first day of going to the site was Renee was there. I met Renee.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. I was showing him how to check rooms.
Check the rooms.
How to do a good job checking the rooms.
I learned a lot. I was like, oh, this is very intense. Looking for, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so for those of you that are going to be watching the episode, I'm going to pre-warn you. You guys are going to be seeing me do a lot of weird head movements because there's this fly that's been in here for the past like 2 weeks. Like I swear it's the same fly. Like, and I'm sure people will be like, flies only live for like a couple days. It's a lie. It's in here forever. I can't get it. I'm about to go buy one of those bug assaults, like the
salt thing.
Yeah, little salt rifles, so I can take it out.
Get rid of him.
Yeah, so I might swing and just accidentally slap Renee, and I promise that there's no ill intent behind it. So, but that being said, let's jump into our mental health check.
Yeah.
You wanna start with you?
Sure. So I feel mentally, I feel like I've been good. I've been very good. I've been doing. I guess I've been walking pretty much every day for the most part. But I've been singing a lot, which is good for me mentally, in preparation for October. And then I've just kept myself busy with the things that I enjoy doing. And I felt like all week I've been able to do things for the podcast, Burner State, MBR. It's just been, I've just felt good mentally. I felt super clear all week, which is good. And I think mentally I've been doing really well. And I'm trying to ride this wave out and see how long it'll go, because it's been a really productive week for me.
Nice.
Good, man.
Yeah.
You lost some weight.
I have, yes.
See that you're fitting into some smaller shirts again.
I have.
You know?
This is this is the barbershop I go to, Union Barber. Shout out to Brandon and crew. I haven't been able to wear this shirt for a minute, at least not comfortably. And yeah, so I've been it started off no sugar. It's a big fly.
It's a big fly, right? Like it's been here just growing.
He's eating well. But yeah, so it started off as no sugar. And then from no sugar, it went to intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
And then it became keto. So now I'm doing all three.
Intermittent fasting is really good for me.
I think it's probably been the most helpful. Except for, I think no sugar is probably good too, but
Yeah.
the fasting's been pretty good. So, but it's helped me. Yeah, I've lost some much needed weight, I think, for myself. But the big thing for me is my mind. I feel like I've been like clear.
Yeah. And you mentioned October. Have we officially mentioned that on this show? What's happening in October? Is that like a thing?
We haven't made an announcement yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're like just preparing for October,
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're playing in October.
Yeah.
But we haven't announced dates, and we haven't announced.
We're playing in October.
Yeah.
We haven't announced that either.
Yeah. So we're waiting, because we're waiting on one little domino to fall. It's kind of annoying, but once it falls, then we can announce it, because we have everything.
Yeah, so we're doing a Walking Blind live show in October. Just kidding. Don't take my word on that. What about you? How are you doing?
Well, this last week's been a little crazy.
Yeah.
My mom was in the hospital, which it was scary because of what we thought she had heart problems and all that. So it was a little scary this time, but turns out she had her tests done on Monday and she's fine. So I was a little screwy.
That's a little scary for
Yeah, I was a little screwy last week, but she came home Monday and everything's fine. So I've been charged with making her walk.
Nice.
So I have to take my mother for walks every day.
You should tell her that a friend of ours likes to walk around the kitchen island.
I will tell her that.
Yeah, you don't have to go outside.
I will
you
tell
don't
her
have to go
that.
far.
Actually, they have
There's-
like a round.
Like a dining table? Or
No,
like
it's like their house is like a round plan type of thing. So I could just take her and walk her through the living room, the family room, the kitchen.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
You can walk
There you go.
anywhere, guys.
There we go.
Steps are steps.
So yeah, that's my
Steps are steps.
steps are steps. So other than that, I mean, I don't know.
So can we ask during this time, especially earlier in the week, because there's even a possibility if had we done the episode Monday night, it was kind of dicey whether you would have been able to even be there,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, because
So-
that's Mondays when they did your tests.
Yeah. And so, what did you find was helpful for you? Like, what are your coping things, or what are your go tos when you're, I guess in a situation like that, which is kind of scary, kind of, yeah.
Mostly I watch movies and start binging on shows on Netflix. And
Which ones?
what
Yeah, what are you watching right now?
shows?
What shows
what
are
am
you
I watching right now? Right now I'm watching. Well, I've got a couple of them going. Black Mirror,
Okay.
The Umbrella Academy. I just started that a couple days ago.
Oh, wait, from season one? Like,
I just started season 2. Well, I'm about halfway through season 2.
okay.
Fun fact, Jesse's brother does the music for Umbrella Academy.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Cool. I'm gonna have to listen closely. And actually, they've got some good songs on there.
Yeah.
They got some really good
There's some
songs.
cool stuff going on in that show.
Yeah, and comedy, stand-up comedy.
Nice.
I love watching stand-up comedy because it's just.
Nice.
And I got it all set up on my computer now. I was watching it all on my phone. I thought this is really stupid.
There's a computer right next to you.
Yeah, the
You're looking
computer's
at
just right there.
Tiny
And I'm
little
centered
screen.
like this.
I catch myself doing that sometimes. Like I'll be right here, and I'm watching something on my phone, and I'm like,
Yeah.
wait a second, what am I doing? So
So, but I got that set up, so that helped a lot. But other than that,
What's a stand-up set that you've seen that you've enjoyed, or a comedian that you just kind of are like checking out?
Christopher Titus cracks me up. He just makes me laugh. He's so funny. On really bad days, though, it's feel funny because I'll go like 15 minutes and nothing's funny, and then
yeah,
then
yeah.
suddenly everything's funny. So, but I use stand-up comedy a lot because it takes your mind off of
Yeah.
the immediate, and so.
There's always like this ongoing debate when it comes to stand-up, like about stand-up comedy being offensive or stand-up comedy like hurting feelings and stuff like that. Do you live in that like category, in that world of like something shouldn't be said, or do you feel like
Oh, heck no.
stand-up comedy is like?
Comedy,
I know the answer to this, but I feel like I should ask it anyway. Like,
No,
it should push boundaries. It should make you uncomfortable. Things like that.
I think for the most part, I think it should.
Yeah.
Because it's if we can't laugh at ourselves,
Yeah.
what are we coming to?
You're gonna be just fine on this show then.
Yeah. I feel like some of our bonding came at the end of our shifts when we would share.
Yeah.
Kind of like what we do.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you laugh at that, all right.
We're trauma bonded or something. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. That's cool.
So
That's cool.
All right, well,
What about you?
Michael.
I'm good. It has been an interesting roller coaster of a week. There he is. There's my
Yeah.
arch nemesis. It's been an interesting roller coaster of a week because, so like pretty much right at the end of last week and through the weekend. So I do voiceover on the side, like I have, and I get this email from one of like my like bigger, like regular clients. So this is like a huge chunk of money every month type deal. They're like, hey, it's somebody I had never gotten an email from this company. And they're like, hey, I don't know if anybody's reached out to you, but just to let you know. And then they listed the names of the people I work with. They've been let go. and the division that you've been working for is kind of no longer in existence at this company. So we still have you on the list if we need voiceovers, but it's not going to be the regular thing anymore. And I was like, fuck. Okay. That's fine. So that happened. And then we had been in like kind of like jumping back and forth on, we've talked about big things coming on the podcast, like, and we talk about it a lot. And guess what, Martin?
Yeah.
Yeah. Guess what, Martin? You're not my real dad. No. So we had been looking at, and I guess we might as well talk about it now. We'd been looking at vans, right? So, we'd been looking at vans just because the idea was that like we both kind of spent a big chunk of time like living out of vans and, being on the road and touring and stuff like that. And one of the things that we really want to do with this podcast is
revisit old trauma.
Revisit old trauma.
There we go.
Just to make us better at this show. No, we one of the things that we wanted to do was really like
him drive.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things that we want to do is kind of like reach out to like friends of ours or like bands that are touring, people that are playing and like on the road full time and check in with them on their mental health. And what we realized is like, especially if you're not from California, it's tough to go to a show, right? Like let's say somebody's playing in Orange County. They're here for a day. Then they have to find a way to make it all the way out to essentially to my house where we record. Yeah. And then be here long enough to record a show and then make it all the way back to the show before they have to play. It's kind of like it's pretty difficult to like go out of your way, especially if it's like, hey, we're not, like it's not like we're paying people to like be on our show, So we still wanted to have that aspect. And then like the whole Zoom thing, like it can happen and it's cool and it is cool to connect with somebody, but I feel like the connection in person is so much more, like meaningful, I guess, than like staring at a screen. So then the idea came, the idea actually came like really early on when we started the podcast. Let's get a van and like we'll kind of rig it up so that we could just show up to shows.
Nice.
And, so like, after the whole voiceover thing happened, then we were like, I was messaging a bunch of people about vans and everything was just falling through left and right. And like, we had one van. I finally like worked out getting the money and then like, all right, cool. We have cash in hand. The guy's like, it's gone. It's sold. We're like,
oh, jeez.
Right. And then, so finally I find another van, and reach out to him, negotiate, bring the price down. And then I'm like, yeah, we'll be there tonight. Little did I know, Chase Bank, thanks JP Morgan Chase, changed their hours apparently nationwide to now they close at 5:00.
Oh, geez.
I don't get off of work until 5:00. So my whole thing was, I have until 6. I'm going to run to the bank afterwards, get the cash. And I had convinced this dude to drop the price. Like, I'll be there tonight. Like, he's like, all right, tonight at this price, whatever. Get to the bank and it's closed.
Oh, jeez.
It's more money than I can actually pull out of the ATM. They're like, the ATM is just not programmed to do that. So I'm just like, I was like mad. I was just so like, I felt so defeated. And I was telling Mike, I was like, this is fucking bullshit. And Mike's like, maybe we should do an episode tonight. It might be good content.
Like, the best response though for yours was just like, I don't think I can, man. I've taken too many L's.
It's like I've been taking too many L's lately. And then so the end outcome of that was finally we talked to the guy and he agreed, like, okay, come tomorrow. I actually sent him a deposit, like not even like, I don't know this dude, like whatever, just if we lose $100, we lose $100 type thing. And then so the next day we went and we picked up a van. So now there is a van for Walking Blind, part of the big things that we've been talking about for this show. So that's like, one aspect of what we've been talking about. So that kind of helped out, like helped get things to fall, into place. Yeah. So, and then I had a couple projects come across my desk that were like nice, a little, one that I even, so I was working with a friend of ours on a project, and because of the sponsor for this, like this project, all I was thinking in my head, because it deals with trucks and stuff, all I was thinking was like, have you seen that clip of the you ever mistake your girlfriend for like, or whatever, like this is how it feels to drive a Ford F-250, right? So I did the voiceover for this like the way I normally would, like, and then I was like, I'm gonna do another version with like the Southern twang to it, just for fun. Like, and I even told him, I was like, I sent you another one just for fun. He was like, dude, you guys still got the Southern boy in you, you know? So I sent it over, and then I get a message from him like 2 days later. He's like, dude, we went with the Southern voice. I was like, what? And he's like, dude, it just fit the music and it fit the vibe of the whole thing. So we went with that one. I was like, no way. All right, cool. You know? So yeah, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster, but,
Look at you rallying.
we're rallying. We're coming back. We're coming back strong. So I'm excited. There's some very cool things happening in the Walking Blind camp.
Yeah.
And you're privy to all of them.
Yes,
so
I get to hear it.
You know.
So I know what's going on.
Yeah. So I'm excited.
And if he doesn't volunteer it, I bug him until he tells me.
I'm even trying to like I talked to Raul, or I sent Raul a message. I was like, hey, maybe we should get a Liquid Death rap around this band. You know what I mean?
Dude,
That would be cool.
please.
That'd be amazingly hilarious.
I don't care.
Like
You
imagine,
got to take that guy that you had behind you and put him on the back of the van or something.
Or in the front.
or in the front,
Or in the
put it in the
front.
front seat, and we can just go in the carpool lane, even if it's only us.
I actually had a friend who he works in Hollywood, and he does effects makeup, and which includes masks and all this. And I don't know how he ended up with this thing, but it was a guy. They named him Sergey, actually, and he looked real.
Yeah.
And so my friend would take and put him in the passenger seat and go straight down to where he needed to go because he looked real.
Awesome.
Actually, on the way here, I was thinking, gosh, I need Sergey.
I have ever since I started riding motorcycles, I have this really bad tendency now, because on a bike, you can just hop in the carpool lane or split lanes or whatever. So now when I'm alone and I'm in traffic and I'm just like, I tend to zone out when I'm driving, especially if it's like somewhere where I'm going that like I've been to a billion times, right? And I have this tendency to just hop in the carpool lane while I'm driving without even thinking about it. And I'm alone. And then I'm like, oh, I need to get out of the carpool lane. Like, this isn't good.
This
Yeah, this is not right.
Dangerously.
Living in the danger zone, you know.
It's a $200 ticket.
It's a little pricey. A little pricey.
It's probably more now. Inflation. I'm sure it's more.
Oh, yeah.
Oof.
But yeah, dude, big thing.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. And so we're trying to determine what the next steps are going to be for the van. There's a couple things that we need to do before it's like, I mean, it's road ready, but before it's like show ready. You know, like we're going to do some swivel seats. We're going to set up like some cameras and everything in there. And I've been working with our buddy Ryan as far as like picking his brain as far as like lighting in the van and stuff. But the van's cool. It's like awesomely early 2000s on the inside. There's like limo lighting up top and everything. So, you know, it's pretty interesting, but it's cool. It's comfortable. Power everything. There's a TV. It gets PBS.
Dude, yeah.
Pretty rad. So yeah,
Awesome.
we are. I promise we're not all talk.
I know. That's the thing. That's like frustrating.
Yeah.
Like there's things happening. We just can't. Like I don't know.
I think the problem is that you and I are both so excitable that we're like, oh, we want to talk about this.
I know.
We've had this plan for so long, but then at the same time, we probably just shouldn't have said anything at all until like, hey, guess what?
Yeah,
Guess what we did? But you know,
It's all right.
you know,
It's okay. Months of that. The paying off. It's
there's a payoff here.
yeah. It's here. Well, I guess we kind of went to look a couple things, but you guys want to do like a week/weekend recap?
You heard mine.
Oh yeah, fair.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Actually, I did a lot of dog sitting because Dad would get up at 6 a.m. and go over to visit Mom in the hospital and be gone all day. So I got to potty train the puppy.
Ooh.
Finally.
That's fun.
So, well, yeah, it's better than having poop in the hallway.
True.
So,
True.
But yeah, so I did a lot of babysitting. But I went to see my mom a couple times, but did a lot of babysitting. So other than that, that's it.
So Mike is on this essentially keto diet, right? And last week we met up for coffee, and then Martin and I had to run by Shipwreck Barbershop. Martin had to drop off shirts. I had to pick up some money from Jake because we finished the record, and like we're paying off Kelly for making us sound incredible. Yeah. The record sounds so good.
Sounds
like
amazing.
Kelly still right now, I'm so stoked on this. I can't wait till it's out. But and then Mike went to go pick up Burner State merch, I believe. Mm-hmm. And then we were gonna turn around and meet and get lunch. So we get there and Mike's like, yeah, I'm like 20 minutes out, whatever. And he's like, but just order me something like keto friendly. And me and Martin are both looking at our phones, and then we look at each other, and then we look at the menu. We're like, what the fuck are we supposed to order that's keto friendly? And we're just looking at it like, wings? And I was like on Google, like, what's keto friendly at what is it?
Dog.
Lazy Dog. And wings were like what came up. So Mike got wings.
Got wings. I put mayo on them, and
Which that feels like a weird choice.
dude, I put mayo on everything. I love mayo.
You also have an unhealthy obsession with ranch too.
That too, which I don't think I can have ranch.
Why can't you have ranch? Isn't it high fat?
I feel like it has sugar, no?
I don't know.
Everything has sugar.
I know.
Yeah, literally everything has sugar.
Yeah.
We looked.
And
Well,
salt.
actually, I basically took Mike's. Oh no, we looked it up. The buffalo sauce doesn't have sugar.
The buffalo sauce you can have because it's
Yeah.
basically just butter and hot sauce.
Yeah. And so I was able to do mayo and buffalo sauce on my on my wings, and it was delicious.
There was something so like strange about watching Mike just take a wing and dip it in mayo.
Dude, okay, so
Bite it. I was like, how?
whatever. I'll put this out in the world. I don't care. Even before keto, for no reason at all. Sometimes I'll get Wingstop, and I won't have ranch. I'll put mayo.
Really? You're the first person I've ever seen just dip wings in mayo.
Yeah, actually, I started doing it. So I've done keto in the past. I did it like kind of a long time ago, and I remember one of the things when I was coming off of keto was I would get Wingstop. That's like my first like stop the diet, but I'm gonna try to not do many carbs, and then one of the things they said, like, you can use mayonnaise as a like a sauce, whatever.
Yeah.
And I loved it because I love mayo. Mayo and broccoli was
Oh yeah.
was a treat as a child.
We converted children at the house, by the way.
Did
That-
we?
That was
Yep.
like the only way that I would eat broccoli for a long time was with mayo. Something my uncle put me on.
Yeah, so why not put it on a wing?
I don't know. That just feels
Why-
weird.
Why not?
It feels
why
wrong.
not eat your fries? That's like the thing in Europe. People are like, "Oh, you're gonna hate it." People like only eat their fries with mayo, and I was like,
Dude, I do.
Yes.
I do the mayo
There.
ketchup mix. You hear it?
"Yeah, he's on top of your hair."
He's on your head.
Oh, see, that's my life. That's my life all week.
I'm gonna get him now.
Hand me that little green book right there. Yeah, I need a weapon just in case.
A weapon.
I need a weapon
Why not this bigger one?
because it's heavy and I don't want to swing it.
Yeah, give him a
Yeah.
small one. I'm close to him.
Yeah.
So.
Actually, no, I can't.
Yeah, don't do that one.
Yeah, don't do that.
I was gonna ask you for that,
Stan's
but I was
on
like,
it.
no, not Stan.
Yeah.
Stan doesn't deserve that. I do have another cool thing, Mike. This is gonna make you feel a little old.
Okay.
Last night we were at the LLU white coat ceremony because Nathan is officially in medical school to become a doctor.
Yeah, it stings a little.
And then while I was standing in the back, the door opens and I just see a stroller come in, and then I see a couple walk in, and I just saw from behind, and I was like, oh, this dude has like a pretty nice like 3/4 sleeve, and I was like, it's Dylan. Dylan. It was Dylan Tyag. And then I couldn't get his attention. He moved all the way up to the front, so I just shot him a message because I didn't have his number. And then afterwards, he's like, "Yeah, I was there." I was like, and then your response was amazing. I was like, "Yeah," I was like, "I saw Dylan at the LLU white coat ceremony." He's like, and Mike goes, "Yeah, it's a bunch of Filipinos in medical school." Like, that makes sense. I was like,
yeah. Does he be there?
Yeah, it makes sense. So,
well, so there's a segment that I'm gonna introduce at some point, and I don't know. I want to give it a cool name, something like Thick Boy Time Machine or something like that. Or,
ooh, okay.
But it's where we go back to something in a previous episode and give an update or fact check or
muy interesante.
Yeah. So actually, the one I had was an update would be for Dylan's daughter. She's out of the hospital now.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyone who saw that in episode, I'm not even trying to remember. Anyway, but yeah, Dylan's daughter she's in the hospital for a couple months, I think.
She was there, nice and healthy in the stroller. So
Cool.
very cool.
That's good.
All right. Well, pretty much. Oh, Burner State had a show. I guess we could talk about that. But
Burner State has a lot of shows, man.
we do have a lot of shows.
You guys are playing a lot.
The one thing I will say about this show, and I don't care, I doubt anyone from the other bands watches this, but I think the guys are starting to understand, not that they didn't, but I think they're starting to actually see it in practice, that like promotion will mean like,
Yeah, it'll make or break.
it'll make, draw.
your show. Yeah.
And there was bands on there that I went through because like this is like, and I understand this, I apologize. No, I don't.
Don't apologize.
No, I don't. And I've felt this way since before MBRE was even touring. Was I never understood when a band couldn't draw, especially a band in the area. I understand like a band from like
If you're out of state,
or even like bands from San Diego, I don't expect them to draw.
Yeah.
Just like in the same way I wouldn't expect them to. For us, I would hope they wouldn't expect us to draw very well back in the day as a punk band. But now in the age of social media, there's no excuses at all. And I know that like, posting on Instagram doesn't mean anything. That's not the only way to promote. There's several ways to promote just on Instagram. Yeah. But there's other ways to do it. And so at the show, I made note of some of the bands that didn't really draw. And so I checked their social medias and just saw their lack of promotion.
Would you like to call them out by name?
And so, dude.
No, don't do it.
But I don't know. I think it's really fucking lazy.
I think,
when a band does that.
And I think that there's a lot of, especially some like younger bands that go, oh, hey, we're playing these shows with big name acts. I know this because I thought this when I was younger too. Mm-hmm. We're playing shows with bigger bands. They're going to bring crowds and their crowds are going to listen to us. Mm-hmm. No, they're not.
No, they're not.
Like it's just, they don't. Unfortunately, especially with like punk rock and hardcore and stuff, like there's definitely like a lot of people are kind of elitist about the bands that they pay attention to and listen to, right? Like I'll never forget when we in Creative Void, we got put on a few of the shows on like the 10 for 10 hardcore tour, right? Like 10 hardcore bands, $10. Mm-hmm. And it was such a sick lineup. And I remember playing House of Blues, Hollywood. And we played, like there were some people there, but like mostly we were the baby band, right? Like nobody knew who we were. We even like gave them a lower merch count because House of Blues takes merch cuts, a lower merch count so that like if we, sold some shirts, we would be able to put gas in the van when we leave instead of them taking our money type deal. But I remember like a photographer standing on the side of the stage, not taking photos of us. He was taking photos of the entire show. Didn't take photos of us, just sat there. And then afterwards he's like, I've never heard a local band sound cool. I was like, thanks, Dick. Appreciate it. But yeah, it is, like, and I can kind of like say that like I had that like lazy mentality when I was younger, especially in the beginning days of that band. But then like watching the older guys, and then like kind of learning how to promote and shit like that. Like eventually Creative Void was the band that would like, oh, there's a show in town, 100 CDs. We'd burn our 3-song demo on 100 discs and just put them on every car. Like, you know, and that's why I was so excited when I saw like Darsum at Rockefeller's had the flyers on the cars. I was like, fuck yeah, this is so sick. Yes. You know, like that early promotion before there was Instagram and like there was MySpace and Facebook and stuff like that, but it wasn't.
Yeah, not like it is
Yeah.
now.
Wasn't really like it is now. Like Creative Void doesn't even have an Instagram. There's no
Make one.
for what?
For
That'd be an interesting thing to just like make a Creative Void Instagram.
do it just to see what Jake does.
Just see what Jake does and just to see how many people are like, wait, what's happening with Creative Void? Like, is, you know.
Oh my gosh. That'd be funny.
I remember one time, like after we stopped playing, maybe like 6 years after, Williams was like, he got on the Facebook Creative Void page and said something like, anybody interested in hearing new music? And then like 2 minutes later, he's like, nah, I'm just fucking with y'all. I'm just taking a shit. I was like, all right, that's fair.
That's a Williams thing to do for sure. Dude. Well, and so I guess in all fairness, like I feel like for No Bragging Rights, we learned a lesson very early on, like really early, and I'm thankful that that we were told straight up what it was, like why local bands have to sell tickets, you know, like how and the person that's telling me this, you know, I listened when he spoke. It was Joe Lujan from Showcase Theater. He was the promoter promoter for the shows and I remember him just being really like just real with me, and he's like, dude, like if you're good, like you know eventually you'll be able to get on shows. He's like, but he's like, this is a business, you know, like, this is a business. So like we need to like make money to keep this thing open, or else you don't get to see any of the bands that you want to see. And if you want to play and you want some of your favorite bands to come through, then like you need to start like basically like making money, like and it's not hard. It's like bring friends, like bring, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And so we took that to heart, and we promoted like crazy. So all I'd say is I have a real hard time now, especially social media. It's so easy. And I tag all the bands, you know, I'm always doing stuff like that. So like for bands to not draw in 2022 to a show that they're a local at, I don't understand. I don't feel. Anyway, so I make notes of that stuff. And there's a difference between a band who does promote and they just don't have a following because they're new or whatever, or you know, I'm totally cool with. I'd rather have a band that works hard, and even though maybe the numbers aren't there, I'd rather have that than, you know, a band that's good and doesn't draw, and because they don't promote, they don't work. They just, because all I see is like, we're just gonna wait and try to bank on everyone else's fans and then steal them, whatever. Like, that's how I see it. Where it's like, or how much better would this show have been had we all promoted?
Yeah, had everybody just at least posted the flyer a few times before the show, you know.
Yeah, and it's like, and for band, like, and I know this must have been the thinking for whether it wasn't this show or another show, but like with bands, another thing I don't understand, like a band will be like, well, you know, we didn't really promote it. It's a Sunday night. Then why the fuck are you playing?
Yeah. Exactly.
Why are you here? Like, that shit drives me nuts. Like, there's bands that have said that to me, and they have been dead to me. Like, there's some bands, there's a reason I don't promote. Like, when I hear that shit, I'm like...
It's frustrating.
Yeah. Like, dude. Anyway, so it's just... so I really like that the Burner State guys are like, they take initiative in that. They're starting to promote. And like, they're having a hard time, like I did on Instagram. Mike had to help me out and give me like pointers on how to promote when our album was coming out.
Yeah.
You're like, no, Mike. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. So he showed me how to make it look cool stuff, and then how to add music to it. And so now the guys are starting to get on board with that, which is cool. And yeah, but all that to say, August 12th, the bands that are playing do promote. So, yeah. But anyway, sorry for that little tangent, little rant.
Your little angry rant about
angry rant.
local bands.
Local bands don't draw. What are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? All right. So I guess so this one we kind of already talked about. We don't have to go too much about where we were our last job. I don't think we really need to revisit that. We kind of already shared it was hard working there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You guys don't have to relive your trauma.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
know.
So this is
Maybe we can traumatize others.
Yeah. If you guys only knew some of the things that went down at that place. We make it sound like something like a torture factory.
Pretty much was. For us anyway.
but we survived, and look at us now.
So much stronger.
Yeah. All right. So we tried this last week or our last episode, and it's then versus now. And so I was trying to think of like, it worked really well last week because we knew that Raul was from the hardcore scene,
Mm-hmm.
and so he's about our age, more or less. He's a little bit. Is he younger than us?
He's younger than us.
Anyway, and so I was like, okay, so hardcore, something we all get on. So I was able to come with questions to that. Well, for you, I was trying to think of like what does Renee have in common with us here, and one of the big ones was movies.
Ooh,
because you're a movie watcher.
Mm-hmm.
And so
I find the weirdest ones I can on Hulu.
you do.
I find some really bizarre.
have
movies.
you watched Velocipaster?
No, I have not.
Have you watched Wolf Cop? Then you haven't found the weird
okay,
yet.
you are going to have to really start making a list for me. Because I get some really weird ones going.
One of the I may have shared this, I don't know, but when we would travel, one of the greatest joys during touring was when we'd stay somewhere that had Netflix. That was like one of the greatest things ever. And so a lot of times, if there'd be something that we could all agree on, like something just came out, like a new show, and we'd watch it. But then there'd be times when like we'd have conflict on like, well, I don't watch that.
Yeah.
So the one thing we could all default on, even myself, was then, all right, let's go look for something with sharks in it. And so we've seen everything. We've seen like Sharktopus. We've seen all the Sharknadoes.
Mecha Shark versus yeah.
Yeah. Or we'll see, or it has to be something like ridiculous like that. Like he said, like the what is it?
Velocipaster.
Velocipaster.
It's like this is how good the movie is. It won't spoil anything. I'm just gonna give you the first scene. It opens up. It opens up and basically like his parents die in a car explosion. So you see the car and then it explodes and he's like, no, but then it like literally on the screen says like, we couldn't afford the special effects. So just imagine like a car exploding and he's like screaming and there's no car exploding. It's that kind of movie.
I'm going to have to find it.
That sounds awesome.
It's pretty rad. I thoroughly enjoyed myself with that movie.
All right, so
It's taunting us.
Yeah, I saw that. It's right there.
I get the thing with the zapper. Have you seen those?
Yeah.
All right, so I didn't really know how to go about this for a then and now for movies for all three of us. But I guess a way to do it then versus now is, I guess, like what are some childhood movies and do they hold up?
Interesting.
So
What do you mean?
like movies you saw in your teens
Okay.
or even younger.
Before you guys were born.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't gonna say it.
Yeah. I already made my one faux pas earlier. Yeah. That's not that old.
That's that old.
Or
There's
you don't look that old.
Gosh, you're ancient. You don't look like it.
But yeah. So movie. Any movies from when you were younger? Do they hold up? Do they hold up now? And they don't have to be like the great blockbusters at the time. They can be whatever.
Okay.
I'll start since yeah. So a movie it holds up well to me. I don't know how everyone else feels about this, but it was my favorite movie growing up, and I still enjoy it so much when I watch it now, and it's the BMX movie Rad.
Okay.
It's super cheesy. It's super corny.
1000%.
But I mean, I guess technically it doesn't really hold up, but I feel like it kind of does. Like,
Do you feel like it still holds up, like out of nostalgia, like you enjoy watching it, or do you feel like if that movie were to come out today, kids would be like, "Oh, I'm gonna get a BMX."
I don't think anyone.
Because I have one of those movies.
Yeah. So I guess maybe it doesn't hold up, but I still love it, and I think it is a nostalgia thing. So when I see it, I'm like, I'm in it.
Yeah.
My freaking fantasy baseball team is called Crew Jones and Crew Jones and Company, which has nothing to do with baseball at all.
No.
But I've had that name like since I started, so whatever.
Just a side note, I always wanted to do a fantasy team called like the Manila Folders. Yeah. Maybe within my office or something, you know.
Dude, I like my fantasy hockey name. It's Ice Chanclas.
Nice. What about you? Childhood or
I'm not mentioning any because yours are gonna go. What? Was that a movie?
Well, it wasn't like Jaws.
I actually was not old enough to go into get into see Jaws.
Well,
and
see, kiddo,
me
see?
and Jackie
look at you,
snuck
young,
in to get it.
little
Yeah.
young whippersnapper.
See?
Actually, no, it wasn't Jackie. It was Carla. We went and snuck in and sort of. She asked how old I was, and I'm a crappy liar. And I'm like, I'm old. Well, no. So I had to have somebody else buy the ticket for me.
Nice.
So, but yeah, we snuck in and saw that. Actually, one movie that I was thinking about that I could probably recite it. Okay, now don't laugh. Okay, St. Elmo's Fire. I love that movie.
That's a classic, though.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Why am I not thinking about
A
like
bunch of kids on detention in the library, and you have your jock, your popular girl, your
Breakfast Club?
Breakfast Club. That's what it is.
I was like, you're explaining it, and I'm like,
That's not St. Elmo's Fire.
that's not St. Elmo's Fire.
Oh, it really is Breakfast Club. Breakfast Club.
That's
Yeah, it is
Breakfast
a
Club.
Oh, that's a good one.
I'm sitting here like,
That's not St. Elmo's Fire.
do I correct her on this, or do I
Yeah,
just
go
let
ahead,
the
go ahead.
let the respect show?
No.
Breakfast Club was good.
Breakfast Club. I like Breakfast Club. That's fun. I don't know.
Do you think does that hold up now?
I don't know.
I feel like it kind of holds up, but they just don't. Kids don't look like that anymore.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
Like the movie itself, I think holds up.
I think high schools haven't changed. You still have the snotty people and the
Typing in movies that came out
So
in
ancient.
movies that came out when Renee was young.
When Renee was young.
so around that
They were still
time
black and white at that point.
around that time
Somebody was like
Yes, they were
rotating
standing-
the projector, right?
Exactly.
we can do these are all like high rated movies that came out around that time. The Blue Lagoon,
Oh, I saw that one.
Okay.
Shining,
Saw that.
The Shining. Okay.
That's a good one.
Cannibal Holocaust.
See that one.
Dude, Caddyshack.
Yeah, that's a good one. I love
Okay,
Caddyshack.
holds up.
Holds up.
Blues Brothers.
Holds up.
I don't think I ever saw it.
I don't remember it.
It had Dan Aykroyd and was it Dan Aykroyd? I think it was.
Yeah.
And John Belushi.
Dude, Star Wars: Empire Strikes Back.
Mm-hmm. Yep, saw it the first
Airplane.
Airplane.
Okay,
was
so
good.
Airplane's funny.
I feel all the movies back then for you, I feel like they all
What year
hold
did
up.
you put in?
Like, how old was I at this time?
After that.
Yeah. See, so
2 years after that.
yeah.
Because everybody's gonna be looking it up, going, "Okay, when did that movie come out?" Okay, so that's how old she is. I've seen most of those.
Yeah. Don't research too hard on the years.
Yeah, don't overthink it. So I have two movies. One I know
don't
doesn't
care.
hold up, but it's like a very like nostalgic for me, which was Surf Ninjas. Do you remember Surf Ninjas? Did you ever watch Surf Ninjas?
No.
it was a very 90s movie about these kids who apparently were the heir to the throne of some kingdom, but they had been taken away and grew up in Santa Monica. I think it was Santa Monica. It has a young Rob Schneider in it. And basically they were, all of a sudden, like, they start getting attacked by all these ninjas. And so they have to fight off all these ninjas, and then they go reclaim their throne type thing. It's got Leslie Nielsen in it. He's the main villain. It's interesting.
Is he really?
Yeah. The other movie, I know that doesn't hold up, but it's got a place in my heart. The other movie that does hold up is Forrest Gump. It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Never liked that movie.
Really?
Whoa.
Yeah.
How
Never
dare
liked
you?
that
Why?
movie. I don't know.
How dare you?
I don't know.
This is my household.
Do you have to leave
Why?
now?
Wait, no. Why? Why didn't you like Forrest Gump? You can be honest.
It was just too over the top. It was just it and I know it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
But it just, I don't know. Maybe I was in a bad mood when I saw it the first time or something. I don't know.
I
just never really liked it.
I just love how like you put him in like all those iconic like video footage of like at the White House and things like that, and like how he just was the reason like a lot of things. He's staying at the Watergate Hotel and he's like, there's people with flashlights. I think the power went out. Like shit like that.
You know what though? I didn't like Forrest Gump until I watched it again, like later on. I think on tour.
I thought I was amongst friends.
No, I'm pretty sure we were on tour when I watched it, and I was just like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch it again. I keep swearing I'm going to, and I haven't yet.
Lieutenant Dan, ice cream. I love that movie. Something about it as a kid, like I think because it was always on TV.
Yeah.
And I would always watch it, and then I just memorized literally the entire movie start to finish. It was just one of my favorites of all time. I think I still have a VHS of it somewhere. And now that we have a van with a VHS player in it, we can watch it. Okay, side note, E.T., right? Mm-hmm. So I was, this is going to tie into Mike Questions Everything, but there was this clip where they're talking about like, at CERN, they're colliding particles and things like that. And they think that may be the cause for some Mandela effect things. So now, do you guys remember in E.T. him saying E.T. phone home? Mm-hmm. Clearly, right? Like it said once, and he doesn't. It's E.T. home phone.
No, it's not.
Then they played the clip, and it's E.T. home phone. But
Somebody changed it.
I remember E.T. phone home.
Everyone remembers E.T. phone home.
Apparently, it's not. Apparently, it's always been E.T. home phone.
No, they changed it.
Mike Questions Everything.
What if
Season 1?
That's why they had to make technology move faster so that we get rid of our VHS. So we wouldn't have the.
All of a
We wouldn't be able to
sudden,
look.
here's a DVD.
Yeah.
I sent that to Karima. She's like, "What the heck?" Because they have, or she has ET on I think VHS. She's like, "I have it. We should watch it." I was like, "Okay, we got to do our research. We got to see if it's real or not."
Let me know when you guys do it because I want
Yeah.
to see it.
You got to make a full report.
We'll do a thick boy time machine on that one. TBTM,
All right. Well, then that leads us nicely into our next segment. This is a part where I think Mike wants to eventually make this an actual thing, but
I
for now-
really do. I want to make this a show.
We're gonna start light. We're gonna start fun. This is a fun one, I think.
Okay.
This one holds, I think, not a whole lot of weight, but normally how this will go is, so the segment is Mike Questions Everything, as that Mike he baits me. He's always baiting me. He's trying to get me to go full on tinfoil hat mode.
Jesse had a good one.
He did. And so it's basically, so what what it's gonna be, and this is I think where Mike and I can take turns on, which scares me, but where we pick a conspiracy, and then we can go through different things with it. We can like we'll say the conspiracy,
Yeah.
and then at the end we can all say whether we believe it, don't believe it, and then but from after we give whether we do or don't believe, and then if we can tag something to it, as in like it could be like, I don't believe that, but that's fun, or I do believe that, but it's stupid. Like, it can be all kinds of things, because conspiracies can be everything. And I want to put like a disclaimer. Well, I guess no, never mind. I was gonna say it because we don't believe in some of these, but some of them we might. All right.
This could be interesting.
All right. So this one, like I said, this is one, and this is also okay. I'm gonna read it, and then you guys, and at the end we'll comment. So the conspiracy theory is that Paul McCartney died in 1966. Before you guys comment, so at the time, around 1966 and the following year, 1967, the Beatles held. Not just the Beatles and the record label held lookalike contests specifically for Paul.
Yep.
This is that's factual stuff.
Facts.
There is one of the supposed winners was a man named Billy Shears. And then in 1966, 1967, around that time, the Beatles stopped touring. They no longer toured anymore. So if they did perform, it was like a one-time thing, or they performed for something on TV, whatever. And then a college radio station or a college radio DJ is what kind of like this had been coming around that time. People had been like supposed corners had been had leaked it and this and that Paul McCartney had left a recording session and was in a car accident where he was decapitated. And that the label and the MI6 or whatever, they're basically their CIA.
Yeah.
Decided that they needed to keep it under wraps because of one, the Beatles were. I know, dude. I can feel it.
You can feel it land.
I felt like my hair go down.
That's a hefty boy.
Yeah. Shame on us for not catching that.
Yeah.
But so since then, people would be they're trying to find clues in everything since that release. And one of the clues they reference is the Sgt. Pepper's album. They said it looks like a funeral. Paul's in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
The Abbey Road album. People said it's like a funeral procession where it's like, I forget what it is. Person in white. There's a person in white, person in a suit. Paul is barefoot and has a cigarette pointing down, which apparently in Italy is a sign of the dead or a sign for the dead, something like that. And then the
flowers say like Paul is dead or something like that?
Yeah. In the Sgt. Pepper one, but in Abbey Road, in the car in the back there's a bug, and the license plate says 28 if. And the reason that why people question that was because Paul supposedly died at 27 years old, so he would have been 27 if he hadn't died at that time, or sorry, he would have been 28 had he not died. So another thing that they found is they started to do around this time playing songs backwards became really popular, and in what song is it? There's a song where I guess the line is repeated. It's like I think it's 9. 9 is repeated a lot, and when you play it backwards, it's supposedly you can hear "Turn Me On, Dead Man."
Yep.
And then another one where it's John Lennon singing, and there's a part where I forget what song this is, but he plays it back and it says, Paul is dead, man. I miss him. Actually, that one I pulled up and I heard, and it's interesting because his voice sounds like he's sad when he's saying it. Paul is dead, man. I miss him. So that was a weird one. And then people have pointed out that from 1966 on, that Paul's height seems to be different than it was in the earlier years of the Beatles. So, first off, is this a conspiracy that we've heard before?
I've actually watched this documentary.
Dude, me too.
Yeah.
I've never heard of it before.
Never heard? Okay, cool.
Yeah. And what's crazy is that, like, there's a lot of things that kind of like
Are weird.
are so weird. So to me, like when it comes to like the playing music backwards thing and like hearing messages, personally, I think that's all just like you're gonna hear what you want to hear, right?
Yeah.
So I don't really hold too much weight onto that because other than Missy Elliott, you know, it's really hard to record something in reverse and then make it say something, you know, the other way around. But there are a lot of like, you know, there's a lot of weird coincidences and things like that. And then like, if you actually watch that documentary, they point out like pictures side by side of they call Fall, like fake Paul versus Paul McCartney. And like they're like the ears are I think higher on one than the other. Yeah. Like the like there was obviously surgery that was done and you can tell that there was surgery done on Paul McCartney. But then like there's also the people that say like, oh, well, he got in an accident and they had to repair it. You know, but then others say like, oh no, it was done so that he would look just like Paul McCartney. So like, it's one of those things where there's just enough weird about it to question it. And it'd be super, super interesting if it was real. I don't know if I believe it or not, but they actually say the same thing about Avril Lavigne. So there, if you actually look at it, like between Avril Lavigne back then and Avril Lavigne now, like they say they can point out a lot of the same similarities. Like you can, like this is somebody who was her best friend, who they always said like they looked alike, that replaced her because they need to keep that like icon in place. They need to keep that star in place, right? So I mean, there's, you know, without sounding like too crazy, like there's a lot of things that are like, oh, that does kind of make sense, or that is really weird and strange. I think the biggest case out of all of them is this Paul McCartney one, where there's so much like fact and evidence, and like, you know, like if the there it is,
Landed on me.
if the this is all real and they're hiding all that imagery and like the record covers and stuff like that, like it's a very blatant like, it's hidden in plain sight type thing. But you know, it's also one of those things like, I guess we'll never know, you know?
Yeah.
So, but I think it's definitely super interesting.
All right. So I guess we can go down. Believe or don't believe?
I believe it.
You believe it?
I actually kind of believe it because, the Beatles at the time were like the biggest phenomenon in the world, right? It's kind of like the same thing like with Elvis, with Michael Jackson, things like that. Like when you have something that's so big that impacts such a huge population, for it to just be shattered would shatter like a lot for, you know, not only business, like there had to have been companies that even indirectly were related to the Beatles and still were like their livelihoods relied on the Beatles being the Beatles, you know? There are so many, you know, like things that like, you know, the gears were turning and like, you can't just throw a wrench in that because, oh shit, like the biggest face on the planet is gone, you know? Like when it comes to like Elvis, right? Like Elvis was the biggest thing, but then you also saw Elvis's decline. Everybody watched him kind of fall apart, right? Whereas the Beatles, you're at the height of stardom, and then this happens, and they're like, what do we do now? Well, let's get a replacement for him. Because I think one of the biggest clues was that he changed hands, right?
Oh yeah.
Like initially he was right-handed,
right.
and then all of a sudden he's left-handed.
Yeah.
All of a sudden he's left-handed playing like his instrument. So, and that was like one of the biggest clues that were like, wait a second, hold on. And like, no, it's just the way the picture is like a mirror image. Like, but no, he's playing with the fucking different hand. So, you know, if they're going to do that with anybody, it's going to be the biggest artist on the planet to me.
I don't think so.
So,
too many secrets. Somebody would have blabbed by now.
I think people have, though. Apparently, this is where you're getting a lot of the
Yeah,
conspiracy.
that's where you get a lot of the.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Because I don't know. That's awful big to be keeping a secret.
It is a very big secret to keep.
It's a big secret, and also it's kind of. So I understand it. So one of the things that made it compelling for me was the money for it, right? Because we've had icons have died, people have died young, but nothing. I guess no one that had as big as what the Beatles were at that time. Because it'd be different had he died even a year before that. It'd been very different because the Beatles wouldn't. I don't think they had come to the United States yet or any of that stuff. And then if you go even a couple more years later, it would have probably been maybe less different. But I forget what other artists came around that time too that would have lessened the blow of something like the Beatles that were taking over the world.
Yeah.
But for me, it's one of those things where it's I don't care if it's if it is or not. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't change for me.
Yeah, it doesn't affect me whatsoever.
Yeah, I still love Hey Jude.
Yeah.
Regardless if it was if it was Paul or someone else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's still muy interesante.
It's muy interesante. Anyway, so yeah, that's a good one, I think. Or a good one to start with. We'll see how
We'll see how people take that one.
We'll see what kind of response people get from that.
Hey, should we put out muy interesante shirts?
Muy interesante. I like that.
You should.
Let us know.
I like that. I have a segment, but I don't know what to do with it. And I don't want to rip off Ty, but that's crazy.
That's crazy. Raul was right. Every episode, Ty gets a mention.
Yeah.
Every episode, we have to. Ty keeps the lights on in this place. Okay. All right, so are we doing on time?
I think we could do one more segment.
One more little segment.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is I'll grab this from Ova, the internets. So I put out what is a topic that are and I put this. I'm starting to put things just now on Walking Blind Instagram because I want we got. Before I post it from mine, if I do a live, I'm I'll go on mine and then I'll plug the podcast. Anyway, so this is on our Instagram. So if you want to see these, got to follow us
At Walking Blind Pod.
Yeah. Instagram.
Also, if you hear snoring, it's the dog.
I was just gonna ask. Which one is it?
It's Isley.
Oh, okay.
He's a loud one.
So I just said, what topic would you like for us to discuss on this week's episode? And oh, dang it. I don't want this to happen. Okay, there we go. We're good. Last time I was fumbling.
This is
super hard.
This is just to show you that it does not matter how old you are. Technology can still be difficult.
I got to that one a lot quicker than I did last time. All right, so just some questions. So I think this one's interesting. This is sent to us by Cindy. So it's your last day on Earth. What are 3 truths or life lessons that you'd want to leave with the people around you?
3 life lessons or truths that you would want to leave the people around you. Interesting.
3.
Or for sake of time, what's one?
3 collectively.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah, 3 of us. That way we can get through more of these.
What do you got, Mike? Because you had time to read this question and think about this.
But I haven't had time to think about it. I've read it and think about it. A truth. Hard work will never go unnoticed. Eventually, it'll manifest in some way.
And it's always repaid by giving you more work.
Yes, that too.
Welcome to the post office.
Exactly. Or we worked for some place like that.
Yeah, that's true. But look at the skills we left with, and the
Yeah, the skills and the trauma that we left with.
Exactly.
What's the?
I would say that be careful with who you surround yourself with. Because the people that you think are your biggest supporters, a lot of times are not.
Yeah.
And the people that hang back on the sidelines that cheer you on, sometimes they're more supportive of what you're doing than the person that's right next to you. I didn't know how to like properly word that to sound like, you know,
You did a good job.
but yeah. Renee,
My turn.
don't eat the yellow snow.
Don't eat the yellow snow.
Smell it first.
Smell it first. I actually have a story about that, but
Which one?
no, wait. When I was a kid, we used to go camping and stuff a lot. And we went up to, I don't remember where we were, but we were in a cabin with a bunch of my parents' friends, and it was snowing, of course. And they used snow for our drinks. And one of the fathers took, and he had iced tea, and he put it in the snow, the little bowl of snow they had, and then he goes, "Oh, look, yellow snow." He takes this big old spoonful and eats it. We're all of us kids are like just grossing out. But no, anyway. I probably would say it always gets better. It will always get better if you hang in there long enough.
Like that.
I like that.
No matter what you're going through, if you hang in there long enough, it will get better.
I like that.
Very cool. All right. Well, this is from Chris. I guess this is a two-parter. But what are future goals, or who is someone that you would be starstruck meeting?
Interesting. Future goals. Half of it, a quarter of it has already been accomplished. We got the van, so let's build it out and let's get some cool people on the show. I think I don't know. Like I've kind of, I don't get starstruck very easily, but I'm pretty sure like there's gonna be somebody along the way. It might not even be like a musician or anything like that. It might just be somebody random that
Or just someone you'd like to meet, even. Who you'd be stoked to meet.
I don't know. Who would you say, Michael?
For you?
No, for you.
Oh, for me.
Because I got to think about this one.
Yeah.
Okay. I would probably be really stoked to meet. Oh, you know what? I'd probably freak out meeting Michael Jordan.
You know what? I'm the biggest Michael Jordan fan, but I hear he's an asshole.
Yeah.
I hear that he's not nice when you meet him.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear the story about how Michael Jordan was at his basketball camp, and then and somebody was like, "Yo, if Mike misses a shot, all you kids are getting free Jordans," and he made every single fucking shot. He didn't miss one. That's the GOAT mentality right there.
That. I love that.
Oh, you know what? I take it back. I would love to meet Shaq.
Oh.
Whatever, Joey. I would love to meet Shaq. Remember, Joey was supposed to hang out with us, and then he was in Mexico with Shaq. I think, like, just overall, like, his one, like, used to just love watching him dunk on people.
Backboards.
Yeah, like just shattering backwards. And then two, like, his mentality on things. Like I just saw today a video about him talking about why he does commercials for the General, right? And so he was saying that back when in the day when he first like was getting money, he got a check and he saw this like beat up old Bronco, and he said it was like $1,500, and he got a Pell Grant for $1,800. So he goes, I took it, and he's like, I pulled out $1,500. He's like, I think he said he got a couple $100, and the rest of it was ones, so he could show up with a big stack. He's like, and I went and I bought the car with all that money. So he goes, okay. So then they go, okay, now you have the car. Now you have to get car insurance. And he's like, what? What's that? And so he's like, I was shopping around. Car insurance was like $300, $400 a month. And he was like, I can't afford any of this. So he went back to the dealership. He's like, I'm going to need my money back. I can't afford insurance for this car. And they said, no, you can keep the car. There's this little company called The General that you can get insurance through. And so Shaq said that he went to The General and it was like really affordable. And they helped him out in the very beginning when he couldn't afford insurance. So, and I didn't know The General had been around that long, right? Like I thought it was just like those shitty commercials that you see, you know? And then so,
You had him.
and so, and then Shaq said that like later on, the reason he came back and does ads for them is one, they were there for him when he couldn't afford it. And two, he's like, they really do actually provide good insurance at something that everybody can afford. And that's, you know, and I believe that because he also had talked about like, you know, kids used to get made fun of for wearing Shaqs instead of Jordans. And he's like, you could talk all the shit you want about Shaqs being in Walmart. And he's like, but we've put shoes on millions of kids who could not afford to have shoes versus you spending. And he said that the reason that he wanted to sell those shoes is because he had a deal with Reebok. And a mom in the crowd was like, why are you selling your shoes for so much money? The kids that want to wear them can't afford them. And he was like, you're right. They can't. And so that's why Shaq shoes are in Walmart and they're so cheap is so that everybody can have them. And I was like, it hurts my heart because I don't know if I could wear Shaqs, but I really want to support this. But yeah, man, Shaq's the GOAT. I think he's probably one of the few people I'd be like starstruck by to meet. Plus he's funny. I like the way he fucks with Charles Barkley.
Renee, who
we're all like,
I know.
He just went that way.
I had him.
You did. You let him go.
My thing is to spend. I try to see where they are, and I figure like they're not gonna take off going this way, and so I try to come at them like this. Usually works.
I can go up if I take the time. I can go up and I can smack him and get him across the room.
Right.
Gotta go slow though.
I used to catch them and then throw them against walls.
Michael.
I didn't know you were so violent.
It was a long time ago, guys.
I don't know. I'm like you. I don't get starstruck or lazy.
I don't believe this.
I don't.
Who was like growing up? Like who was like your favorite musical artist, or your favorite actor? Like if Tom Selleck were to, I'm just kidding.
No.
Shirt open.
Yeah, shirt open.
His shirt open. And,
What about Burt Reynolds?
oh heck no. I'm trying to think of who it was. Oh, I had. Oh gosh, I can't even remember his name now.
Band or movie.
No, I was thinking an actor that I used to drool over.
Ooh, Ryan Reynolds.
No, he's too young.
Harrison Ford.
Ooh,
He was one of them.
Harrison Ford is here.
Harrison Ford. Oh, when Kevin Costner came out with Robin Hood.
Ooh, okay.
Dude, I want to see that movie again.
That's a good one. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one.
Christian Slater.
No.
Dude, we're gonna kill this one.
This is no longer about podcasting. It's all about,
this is about getting that
annihilating the fly.
I don't know. I've never really been.
Robert Redford,
No, my mom likes him.
Whitney Houston.
Oh, she's.
Get out of my death.
But I don't know.
AC/DC, Styx,
No.
Aerosmith.
I used to
Aerosmith,
love
Steven
Journey.
Tyler?
Used to love Journey.
Journey.
Journey. Okay.
Okay.
Yep, used to love Journey.
Now the Filipino guy or the OG singer.
Oh, gee.
Arnie or Steve?
But no, there's nobody I would just like go crazy meeting. Not anymore. Maybe when I was a kid, but not anymore. I grew up with my mom. She used to be a secretary, and she got to a level that she worked as a secretary for like CEOs and things like that. And I think that had a lot of impact on me when you see this person that everybody, this company, everybody's going, oh my gosh, like he must just, the world must revolve around him. And, getting to know these guys, it was like, they're no different than anybody else.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of influenced how, I look at actors, and it's just like, they're just like everybody else, sort of.
I put my pants on
Yeah, exactly.
one leg at a time.
Exactly.
And then I make gold records.
When this is all over, you'll all be wearing golden diapers. Well,
What about you, Mike?
I said Michael Jordan
Oh, yeah, that's right.
or the great one, Wayne Gretzky.
Mm.
Like all minor sports.
What about Mariah?
Oh man.
Ooh,
I mean, I
Mariah
freak
Carey?
out for different reasons, I think.
Would you freak out meeting Adele?
Dude, I'd lose my shit meeting Adele. Yeah. I would lose my fucking mind meeting Adele.
I don't think you'd be able to talk.
No, I would, which is what sucks.
You'd hit her with a hello and then be like, fuck.
Now what?
No, my problem is that I do talk. My mouth does open, and I'd say stupid shit. That's my problem. Like I was saying earlier, when I met Mike Herrera from MXPX,
Yeah.
I was like barely coherent. Like that, and that shocked me. I think I was like more surprised of like, why am I like freaking out so hard? But yeah, big impact on my life. So yeah, Adele. Oh yeah, I'd lose my fucking mind.
And okay, so before we get out of here, and we'll, we don't have to go super long on this, but we can just jump into it because you've been hanging out with us today, and we really haven't jumped in depth into this. Like what was it for you that made you decide to get into mental health and social work and this kind of thing? Like, what was it that brought you here, essentially? Was there something like that you can point out, or was it like this was my calling?
This is my calling. No,
because she was very like good with these kids. Like they
when I didn't lose my shit.
yeah. Which really only
There was a
happened
couple
once.
times that happened. Well, just once that was really bad.
Yeah.
There was a couple times.
But you should have lost it way more based on just some of the insanities that happen in the house. But I always thought you were really good at like, because we did do a lot of like good cop, bad cop. Like we did a lot of that stuff. But like,
You guys never did bad cop, bad cop.
bad cop, worst cop.
There were times.
But yeah, no, I thought you did really well with that population, and then but I also could see we talked about it before when you're looking into other areas. I was like, you do freaking well with them too.
I think it helped a lot that I raised a boy. I had my son, and I think that helped a lot because I could
You could
relate
relate
to them better.
right?
Because I brought up a kid.
Yeah.
So I think that had a lot to do with it. I had several things happen when I was younger. That kind of, this is a whole nother episode. That kind of put me.
This is the episode we want.
We can do another one.
I was just a boy.
I had a lot of things happen when I was a teenager that really threw me for a loop.
Right.
I think you and I talked about a couple of them. And it kind of started a kind of like a downhill spiral thing. That didn't end until I was in my 50s.
So,
like I said, a whole nother episode.
So, it's still going.
Yeah, it's still going. I'm still working on it. No, but I think that had a lot to do with it because I remember how lost I felt
Yeah.
I didn't have anybody to talk to. And I thought, so you get me nervous.
And I mean, you don't have to go crazy.
No, I won't go crazy. But originally, that's why I wanted to work with kids, is that I remember being in a situation where I wanted to be able to talk to somebody and I couldn't talk to anybody. And I think that's why R and I ended up with such a good relationship, is because he's able to talk to me. But I think that's why.
Yeah.
And then I have, since working there, I've decided that's probably not my personality.
Yeah.
So I've changed I've got 3 classes left to finish this bachelor's, and I've changed my emphasis. It was on kids, childhood and adolescent disorders, and now I've gone with a blanket trauma.
Oh, okay.
And then if I ever go for my master's,
Seems to be a big if in this community.
It's not as easy as
Yeah, it's the thought of just doing it, going and all the work it's going to take.
And I mean, it also is very thankless. You know, it's like a very
really is.
It is, and I didn't realize how crappy it paid.
It's pretty bad.
It's bad.
Like when Mike was telling me, I was like, make what?
Yeah.
I can get you a job making like that. And you don't need all this school stuff.
You don't have to put up with it. Well,
Yeah.
Finally, when the one kid was talking about his mom being able to hire us at McDonald's for like $1 more an hour, I started thinking, heck with this.
Yeah, we're like,
I'll be a greeter at
And you
Walmart or
get-
something. I don't know. I don't have to put up with this crap for that. But, and I think that's why. I think that's what led me this direction.
You know, like we kind of like, you know, you have such a good sense of humor, and like you're so like you can riff with us back and forth, you know. So like we've said some age jokes, but I think that there's also something to say about like the fact that like you have the wisdom, like those
Yeah.
years have given you like more perspective than like we might have
Yeah.
on things, and I think that that's really important, especially if you choose to go into something like this.
Yeah.
Like I could give you advice based on my years here, but then you're like, I got you beat on that one.
Yeah.
Check this out, So, I think that helps too. Like
It does.
the more experience and that you have, kind of jumping
Yeah,
into this.
it does. And I was lucky to be, I wasn't nearly as lucky as him, but I was lucky to be able to live in different circumstances. And like, my son was actually born when we lived in Montana. He was, his dad was in the Air Force. And so we lived on base. And so I got to talk to a lot of people and from all over the country and, find out. The old wives' tales were really fun. But anyway. And then we moved to Atlanta.
Where'd you live in Atlanta?
First place was in Marietta.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We lived there for 7 years, 8 years, something like that.
I lived in Suwannee, Georgia, in
Okay.
Gwinnett County.
Okay. Yeah. I know where that is. And so, I don't know, I've just lived in a bunch of different places and met so many different people that I think that helps too, is learning how to talk to different people in different circumstances. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
that helps a lot too.
Traveling is so, even if it's just like the U.S. And being able to see different parts and seeing how pace.
Yeah.
Pace is so different, and like being, I imagine being on a base, you could see
there's
personalities.
There's so much diversity on the bases.
Yeah.
There's so many
Yeah.
people coming and going. There's so much going on. Like, it's just-
It was, we lived in Great Falls, Montana
Okay.
on base. And,
you weren't by the Dutton Ranch.
but I was 19 when we moved up there. And so long time
like-
ago. Montana was actually a state at the time.
There's like nothing out
There's
there.
nothing there. There still is nothing there.
Yeah.
But I was born and I grew up here. I was born in Montebello, and I've lived my whole life like within a 30-mile radius.
Yeah.
And
So was that like
so
it's got to be a culture shock then to go from California, even California back then, right? Like
I have the biggest culture shock I had. Our base housing wasn't ready yet. He likes you. Our base housing wasn't ready yet, so they put us up in a little hotel, across town for a while. And we got there. We spent Thanksgiving with our families, and then we went up to Montana. And so we were in this little hotel, and we'd been traveling for a little while, so I went to go do laundry. The laundry room was down there, so I did what I always do. I got in the shower, washed my hair and everything. I haven't blow-dried my hair in so long, it's like... So I take my clothes, and my hair's wet and everything. I go down, I put them in the washing machine, and I come back, and I touch my hair's frozen. The wind chill factor at the time was like -100.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it does that.
That's
and
awesome.
my hair was frozen, and that was a culture shock.
Yeah.
That was a culture. Then I could get longer hair, but it was fun. I really liked. I loved shoveling in the snow.
Mm-hmm.
It's so quiet after it snows. It's so gorgeous. Now I wouldn't do that so well, but
I love the snow.
I do too. And
Yeah.
if I can ever move.
It's cool to visit.
I would. When I lived in Connecticut as a kid, I just remember we both
Me.
when I lived in Connecticut, it was very sorry, it was very like also a shock because there was so much snow, right? That like one day I remember opening the door and I was a kid, so it looked way higher,
Yeah.
but it was probably like 4 or 5 feet of snow, like just right in front of the door. And we had to like tunnel out of the house, like to go to like, and we actually made tunnels to like our friends' houses and
How
stuff like
fun.
That sounds cool.
That
It's
would be
pretty
fun.
rad. It's pretty rad. But
So, yeah. It I don't know. I would like to move someplace that there's. In fact, I've been talking about Sweden.
ooh,
I'm gonna take off to Sweden.
nice.
I'll never go. But it's a great fantasy. On my Instagram, I have like Sweden, and it come up with all these pretty pictures. And
So speaking of Sweden, and we can kind of like end on this, and I'm like fact checking myself right now, but so when it comes to Sweden and it comes to the Swedish language, right? Mm-hmm. Are all the names of the things in IKEA actual Swedish words, or is that just like made up things to sound Swedish so that because I can't pronounce anything in that store.
I've never been in one.
You've never been to IKEA?
Never been to IKEA.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been we've learned that Renee hasn't been to IKEA. She doesn't like Forrest Gump. A lot of clarity we've received here tonight.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I have a feeling I'm not going to be welcome at the next show.
You're always welcome. You're always welcome. This house.
I know IKEA as a place to get food.
Swedish meatballs.
Swedish meatball.
Yeah.
Well, see, you need to go in with Google Translate and just take pictures of all the words and see if they translate.
Well, like when I Google all the words, immediately that piece of furniture from IKEA pops up.
Well,
Like
that's where you're going. Here, gotta get this.
Smart.
This is fun.
Ektorp. Like, what is that? It's a fucking bookshelf.
No, you get this.
I have Google Translate. Mm-hmm. We're gonna go back to IKEA. We're gonna figure this out.
Yeah. You should see what I do with these. I come up with all sorts of fun
We'll do a
things.
thick boy update afterwards.
There you go. Yeah, let us know which words are real and which aren't. I belong to a group, just a group on. I think it's just on the internet, but it's got people in it from all over the world, and we were talking to some of the Swedish people on there, and they were saying that actually that language is very similar to ours. Their letters don't look right, but
Yeah, there's a lot of those like
the little umfla things.
yeah, those,
Yeah.
The dots and the
Yeah, umfla. That's what they call it in German.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, that being said, let's get out of here. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us.
Anytime.
You guys have officially met the new intern Renee, because Harry has not been here for 35 episodes.
Well, I was supposed to be your intern.
True. So we are now that we've like broken the ice with you, we're gonna bring you back and we're gonna talk more. We're gonna get more in depth. You know, whatever you feel like talking about.
Whatever you want to talk about.
Get your feet wet. You know what I mean? I know it's a little awkward being on mic. You know, but
It is.
I meant the
plus I gotta
microphone.
look at myself.
I meant the microphone, not on mic. I just
Oh no.
Just kidding. That being said, thank you guys so much. Make sure you guys like, follow, and subscribe. YouTube, Walking Blind Podcast, at Walking Blind Pod, walkingblindpod@gmail.com. One thing I've started doing, which I don't know why I didn't do from the beginning, we're starting to plug like the IG handles on the episode descriptions. You guys all, we haven't talked about this. It's been up for 35 episodes, but now that we're making like these big money investments, there's actually an option if you feel like donating to the show and supporting microphones and stuff like that through Acast. So that link is available on the show as well. We're going to be doing a lot more cool stuff. And like from here, it's like we're hoping a good snowball effect, like where we want to bring on like some of you guys' favorite bands. So, you know, some people that, you know, maybe you least expected to be friends with us. So we want to do that. So, but yeah. We will we'll check in with you guys soon. I'm gonna try my best because we're recording on a Friday to get this up tonight. You know, it is what it is, and that's it. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you,
Renee.
Thank you. You can have me.
Yeah.
I'll come back anytime.
All right, guys. We love you guys. Peace.